Sometimes the most beautiful paradise can become the most expensive prison. I learned that the hard way when I traded my broken life in New Jersey for what I thought was love in Thailand. They say love is blind. But greed has perfect vision. And I was the perfect target. My name is Bob, and at 64, after a bitter divorce that left me broken and alone, I thought I'd found my second chance at happiness. A beautiful Thai woman named Nietzsche who seemed to love everything about me. She helped me navigate visa paperwork, find a perfect house, build what looked like the ideal retirement life. For 8 months, I felt useful, needed, loved for the first time in years. But love and business can look identical when you're desperate enough to believe. And desperation, I discovered, is the most expensive emotion in the world. By the time I realized what was really happening, it had cost me everything: my savings, my dignity, and nearly my sanity. This is my confession. If you like our videos, please subscribe and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Your support means everything to us. I'm sitting on my terrace in Phuket, watching Nietzsche make breakfast through the kitchen window. The morning sun hits the palm trees just right, and I can smell jasmine in the air. This is what peace feels like, I tell myself. This is what I came to Thailand for. "Good morning, darling," Nietzsche says, bringing me coffee in my favorite mug, the one with elephants on it that she bought me last month. "Did you sleep well?" "Like a baby," I say, and I mean it. Back in New Jersey, I hadn't slept through the night in years. The divorce, the stress, the loneliness. But here, with her, everything feels different. She sits beside me, her hand resting on my arm. I'm 64, and she's 34. But somehow, it doesn't feel wrong. She makes me feel young again. Useful. Important. "What are your plans today?" she asks, scrolling through her phone. I notice she's been on it more lately, but I don't want to be that guy. The jealous, controlling type. That's what ruined my first marriage. "Maybe we could visit the temple," I suggest. "You said you wanted to show me the one where your grandmother used to pray." "Oh, darling, I have to work today," she says quickly. Big group coming from Seoul. Very important clients. I nod, trying to hide my disappointment. Nietzsche works as a translator at a nearby resort. It's how we met. She's smart, speaks 4 languages, and somehow she chose me. Sometimes I still can't believe it. "That's okay," I say. "I'll just read by the pool." She kisses my cheek and goes inside. Through the window, I watch her talk on the phone in rapid Thai. Her voice sounds different when she speaks Thai. Sharper, more urgent, but I don't understand a word. I'm thinking about how different this life is from my old one. No morning commute to Newark. No ex-wife calling about alimony payments. No empty apartment that smells like takeout and regret. Here, I wake up to sunshine and the woman I love. The woman who loves me back. But as I'm thinking this, I notice something that makes my stomach tighten just a little. There's a stack of mail on the kitchen counter that wasn't there yesterday. Official-looking envelopes. When I walked past earlier, Nietzsche quickly moved some papers over them. "Nietzsche?" I call. "Everything okay with the mail?" "Just bills, darling." She calls back. "Nothing important. I'll handle it. I'll handle it." She says that about everything now. The house payments, the visa paperwork, even my banking. She's so helpful, so eager to take care of me. Sometimes I wonder if she's too good to be true. I shake my head. That's my ex-wife talking. Janet always said I was too trusting, too naive. But Janet was wrong about a lot of things. She was wrong when she said I'd never find love again. She was wrong when she said no woman would want a boring accountant from New Jersey. Nietzsche wants me. Nietzsche chose me, and I'm not going to ruin it by being paranoid. I take another sip of coffee and watch a gecko run across the terrace railing. In New Jersey, I would have jumped. Here, I just smile. Everything's different here. Everything's better. "I love you," I call to Nisha. Love you too, darling. She calls back, but she's still on the phone, her voice still sharp and urgent in Thai. I tell myself it's nothing. In paradise, nothing bad can happen. Right? 8 months ago, I was a broken man sitting alone at a beach bar in Phuket. I'd just gone through the ugliest divorce in New Jersey history, or at least it felt that way. Janet got the house, half my retirement fund, and somehow made it seem like it was all my fault. Another beer? The bartender asked in broken English. I nodded. It was my fourth, and the sun was setting over the Andaman Sea. I'd come to Thailand on what my therapist called a healing journey. Really, I just wanted to disappear. That's when she appeared. Excuse me, said a soft voice. Is this seat taken? I looked up and saw the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in real life. Not magazine beautiful, real beautiful. Dark hair pulled back, kind eyes, wearing a simple blue dress. No, please, I said, gesturing to the stool next to me. Thank you, she said, sitting down. I'm Nietzsche. Robert, I said. Bob, she repeated, smiling. American? Unfortunately, I said, trying to make a joke about my accent. She laughed, a real laugh, not polite. Why, unfortunately? America is wonderful country. Not for me, I said, and suddenly I was telling this stranger everything. About Janet, about the divorce, about how I felt like I'd wasted 35 years of my life. Nietzsche listened, really listened. She didn't check her phone or look around the bar. She looked at me like what I was saying mattered. You seem like good man, she said when I finished. Good men deserve good life. I don't know about that, I said. I know, she said firmly. I work with tourists every day. I can tell good people from bad people. You are good people. She worked at the resort down the beach, she told me. Translator and cultural guide. She spoke English, Thai, Chinese, and some Korean. She was smart, educated, but she seemed genuinely interested in my boring life as a retired accountant. You know what you need? She said after my 5th beer. What? Adventure. Real Thai adventure. Not tourist adventure. The next day, she showed up at my hotel lobby. Ready for adventure? She asked. We spent the day riding motorcycles through mountain villages, eating street food I couldn't pronounce, visiting temples where monks blessed us both. She translated everything, explained everything, made me feel like I belonged. This is amazing. I told her as we watched the sunset from a hilltop temple. Thailand is amazing, she said. But you have to know where to look. Over the next 2 weeks, she became my guide to everything. Not just tourist stuff. Real life. She helped me find a good apartment, explained how to get a retirement visa, introduced me to expat communities. You could stay, she said one evening as we walked along the beach. Many foreigners retire here. Good life, low cost. I couldn't, I said automatically. Why not? I couldn't think of a good reason. What was waiting for me in New Jersey? Empty apartment? Angry ex-wife? Cold winters? My family. You said your daughter doesn't talk to you. You said you have no friends left after divorce. She was right. Janet had gotten custody of our social circle too. You could start new life here, Nietzsche said quietly, if you wanted. That night, lying in my hotel bed, I realized I did want that. For the first time in years, I wanted something, and that something included Nietzsche. I have crazy idea, I told her the next morning. What? What if I did stay? What if I moved here permanently? Her smile was like sunrise. You really want to? I really want to. She threw her arms around me right there in the hotel lobby. I help you with everything, she said. Visa, apartment, everything. We do this together. Together, I repeated, and the word felt like a promise. 2 months later, I was a Thai resident. 6 months after that, we had a traditional Thai wedding ceremony at a beautiful temple in Phuket. Her family couldn't attend. They lived too far away, she said. But it didn't matter. We had each other. You saved my life, I told her on our wedding night. No, darling, she said, curled up next to me. We saved each other. I believed that completely. I believed everything completely. The first time Nietzsche's phone rang at 3 in the morning, I thought it was an emergency. Hello? Hello? She answered in rapid Thai, slipping out of bed and walking to the balcony. I could hear her voice through the glass door, urgent and worried. After 10 minutes, she came back to bed. Everything okay? I asked. My mother, she said, curling up next to me. She's sick again. Her heart medicine is very expensive. How expensive? 15,000 baht. But don't worry, darling. I'll handle it. Nisha, I'll pay for it. Of course I'll pay for it. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. You would do that? She's going to be my mother-in-law, I said. Family takes care of family. The next morning, I transferred the money to her account. 15,000 baht. About $400. Nothing for a retired American. Everything for a Thai family. Thank you so much, darling, Nietzsche said, kissing me. My mother will be so grateful. But the calls kept coming, 2 or 3 times a week, always late at night, always in urgent Thai, and there was always a reason she needed money. My brother needs surgery. The family water buffalo died. My cousin's wedding needs help. I paid for everything. Tea made me feel useful. Important. Like I was really part of a Thai family now. But other things started changing too. Nietzsche's work schedule became unpredictable. Sometimes she'd leave for the resort at 9 in the morning and not come back until midnight. Big Chinese tour group, she'd explain. Very demanding clients. Do you want me to pick you up? I'd offer. No, darling. The resort provides transportation for late shifts. I started noticing new things in our house. A expensive-looking handbag on the kitchen counter, diamond earrings that caught the light when she turned her head, a new iPhone that looked like the latest model. Where did you get that? I asked about the phone. Work gave it to me, she said quickly, for communicating with international clients. And the earrings? Copy from Weekend Market. Very cheap. Thai women love fake jewelry. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her, because the alternative was thinking like Janet, who always assumed the worst about everyone. But late at night, when Nietzsche was in the shower or taking another mysterious phone call, I found myself wondering. The earrings looked real to me. The handbag had designer labels. And why would a resort give translators $1,000 phones? You're being paranoid, I told myself. This is what Janet did to you. She made you suspicious of everything. I tried asking about meeting her family again. We'd been married for 3 months, and I still hadn't met a single relative. Soon, darling, Nietzsche said. My family is very traditional. They need time to accept foreign husband. How much time? Thai time, she said with a smile. Everything happens slowly in Thailand. But nothing about our bills happened slowly. The house payments kept getting higher. The utility bills seemed excessive for 2 people. When I asked to see the paperwork, Nietzsche would wave her hand. Don't worry about Thai bureaucracy, darling. Too complicated for foreigners. I handle everything. She handled everything. My visa renewals, my bank account, even my mail. I'd become completely dependent on her for everything that required reading Thai. Maybe I should learn Thai, I suggested one evening. Very difficult language, Nietzsche said quickly. Take many years, not worth it for retirement. But I noticed something else. When we were out in public, other Thai people sometimes looked at us strangely. Not the normal curious looks that foreigners get. Something else. Something that felt like pity. One evening at a restaurant, our waitress said something to Nietzsche in Thai that made her face go hard. What did she say? I asked. Nothing important, Nietzsche said. Just asking about the food. But the waitress had been looking at me when she spoke, and her expression wasn't about food. It was the look you give someone when you feel sorry for them. That night, I lay awake listening to Nietzsche breathe beside me. The woman I loved. The woman who'd saved me from my broken life in New Jersey. The woman who seemed to need more and more money every week for family emergencies that I never quite understood. I told myself I was imagining things. That love requires trust. That Janet's paranoia had infected me like a virus. But deep down, in a place I didn't want to acknowledge, I was starting to wonder if paradise had a price tag I couldn't afford. I was reading on the terrace when Nisha's phone started ringing in the kitchen. She was in the shower, and the ringing was insistent. Urgent. Nisha, I called. Your phone. No answer, just the sound of running water and that constant ringing. Without thinking, I walked inside and picked it up. Hello? There was a pause, then a man's voice, speaking English with a Thai accent. Where is Nietzsche? She's in the shower. Can I take a message? Another pause, longer this time. You must be the American, the voice said, and something in his tone made my blood go cold. Yes, I'm her husband. Who is this? The man laughed. Actually laughed. Her husband? That's what she told you? Who is this? I repeated, my voice shaking now. Listen, American, I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but you're not the first one. You understand? You're not the first one. And you won't be the last. I don't understand. The money, the man said. How much has she taken from you so far? My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. I think you have the wrong number. Sick mother? Brother's surgery? Family emergencies? The man's voice was almost gentle now. She's good at this game, brother. Very good. The shower stopped running. I have to go, I whispered. American, the man said quickly. Be careful. She's getting ready to disappear soon. They always do when the money runs out. I hung up just as Nietzsche walked out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel. Who was that? She asked, seeing me holding her phone. Wrong number, I said, my voice barely working. Someone speaking Thai. Her eyes went hard, harder than I'd ever seen them. You answered my phone? It kept ringing. I thought it might be important. My phone is private, Robert. You don't answer my phone. She'd never used that tone with me before. Cold. Angry. Like I was a stranger who'd done something unforgivable. I'm sorry, I said. I was just trying to help. Don't help with my phone, she said, snatching it from my hands. My phone is my business. She checked her missed calls, scrolled through messages. Her face got darker with each screen. Who was it? She asked again. I told you. Wrong number. Some man speaking Thai. What did he say? I couldn't understand. He hung up when I said you were in the shower. She stared at me for a long moment, and I felt like she was trying to see inside my head, trying to figure out how much I knew. Probably scammer, she said finally. Many scammers call Thai people, try to steal money. Right, I said. Scammer. But that night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the conversation, the man's voice, the way he'd said, "You're not the first one," the way he'd asked about money. What money? The money for her mother's medicine? For her brother's surgery? For all the family emergencies that seemed to happen every week? Next to me, Nietzsche was on her phone, typing rapidly. The blue light from the screen lit up her face, and she looked like a stranger. Someone I'd never seen before. Who are you texting so late? I asked. Work, she said without looking up. Early tour tomorrow. Need to confirm details. But it was almost midnight. What kind of work required texting at midnight? Nietzsche, I said carefully. That man on the phone, he seemed to know me, know about us. Her fingers stopped moving on the screen. What did he say exactly? Just. He asked about money. Asked how much you'd taken from me. She turned to look at me then, and her expression was completely calm. Too calm. Scammers always ask about money, she said. That's how they work. They pretend to know your business, make you nervous, then try to steal from you. Right, I said again. She went back to her phone. I stared at the ceiling. But I couldn't stop thinking about the way the man had laughed when I said I was her husband. The way he'd said, "She's good at this game." What game? And why was I suddenly sleeping alone on my side of the bed, while the woman I loved typed secrets to strangers in the dark? I needed to renew my visa, and for that, I needed our marriage certificate. Nietzsche always handled our paperwork, but she was at work, and the immigration office said I could bring it myself if I had the right documents. Just check the filing cabinet, she'd said that morning. Everything's in there. I opened the cabinet and found folders labeled in both Thai and English. Birth certificates, passport copies, house documents. Everything perfectly organized. Everything except what I was looking for. I found our wedding photos. Beautiful pictures of us at the temple, Nietzsche in traditional Thai dress, me in a white shirt looking happier than I'd ever looked in my life, but no marriage certificate. Instead, I found something else. A decorative paper from the temple, beautiful calligraphy, gold trim, our names written in Thai script. But when I looked closer, I realized it wasn't a legal document. It was more like a participation certificate. A souvenir. My hands were shaking as I called Nietzsche. Darling, I can't find our marriage certificate. What do you mean? For the visa renewal, I can only find the paper from the temple ceremony. There was a long pause. Oh, she said finally. The legal registration. We still need to do that part. What do you mean, still need to do that part? Thai marriage has two parts, she said quickly. Temple ceremony for family, legal registration for government. We did temple part, but legal part. There was delay with paperwork. Delay? Nietzsche, we've been married for 6 months. Thai bureaucracy is very slow, darling, very complicated. I'm working on it. But I told everyone we were married. I changed my visa status to married. We are married in eyes of Buddha, she said. Legal paper is just government formality. But something in her voice didn't sound right. She sounded nervous. Court. When will you fix it? Soon, darling. Very soon. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. She always said that. About everything. That afternoon, her phone buzzed with a message while she was in the kitchen. Without thinking, I glanced at the screen. It was in Thai, but I quickly took a photo with my own phone. Later, when Nietzsche was napping, I used Google Translate on the message. The old man is asking questions. Be careful. The message was from someone named Niran. My blood went cold. The old man. That had to be me. But who was Niran? And why was Nietzsche receiving warnings about my questions? I scrolled through more of the message history that I could see on the lock screen. Most was in Thai, but Google Translate gave me fragments. Money transfer complete. Next month, same amount. He suspects nothing. I sat on our couch, staring at my phone, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. The woman I loved, the woman I'd married, was apparently discussing me with someone named Niran. Discussing money transfers and making sure I didn't suspect anything. Suspect what? When Nietzsche woke up, I was sitting in the same spot, still staring at my phone. Everything okay, darling? She asked, stretching like a cat. Nisha, I said carefully. Who is Niran? Her entire body went rigid. What? Niran? Someone named Niran sent you a message. You looked at my phone again? It was on the table. The message was on the screen. She grabbed her phone and checked it, her face getting darker. "Niran is work colleague," she said. "Why are you spying on me?" "I'm not spying. I just saw the name." "You saw name. So, you Google translate my private messages." She knew I'd translated it, which meant she knew I'd seen the warnings about the old man asking questions. "Nietzsche, what's going on? Why is someone warning you about my questions?" "You're being paranoid," she said, but her voice was shaking now, just like typical jealous husband. "I'm not jealous, I'm confused. We're not legally married. You're getting messages about money transfers, and someone named Niran is telling you to be careful about me asking questions." "You don't understand Thai culture," she said. "You don't understand Thai business. You're making problems from nothing." But she couldn't look me in the eyes when she said it. That night, she slept on the couch, said she needed space to think, said I was becoming too controlling, too suspicious. I lay in our bed alone, staring at the ceiling, wondering who I'd actually married, wondering if I'd married anyone at all. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to check our finances. Maybe if I understood our money situation better, I could understand what was happening with Nietzsche. I logged into my bank account at 4 a.m, sitting in our dark kitchen with my laptop. What I found made me physically sick. In 8 months, I'd transferred over $23,000 to Nietzsche's account. $23,000. More than half my annual retirement income. I scrolled through the transactions, remembering each one. Her mother's heart medicine, her brother's surgery, visa fees that seemed higher than expected, house repairs that I never saw being done, a business investment that would make us rich, that Nietzsche was going to tell me about later. Later never came. But it was worse than just the money I'd given her directly. I found transactions I didn't remember making. Smaller amounts. Hundreds of dollars transferred every few weeks. When I tried to access my investment account, the one with my serious retirement money, I got an error message. Account not found. I called the investment company. It took 3 hours on hold to reach someone in their international department. "Mr. Johnson, your account was closed 4 months ago. The funds were transferred to a Thai bank account as per your written request." "What written request?" "You submitted a form requesting full liquidation and international transfer. The signature matched our records." My signature? But I'd never signed anything like that. "Can you tell me which Thai bank?" "I'm sorry, sir. I can only confirm that the transfer was completed according to your instructions. $47,000. Gone." I sat in that kitchen until the sun came up, adding numbers, checking dates, trying to understand how I'd lost over $70,000 in 8 months, without realizing it. When Nietzsche came home from work that evening, I was still sitting at the kitchen table with printouts spread everywhere. "What's all this?" she asked, but her voice was careful. "Our finances," I said. "I wanted to understand where our money goes." She glanced at the papers, and I saw something cross her face. Fear. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I'm broke, Nietzsche." "We're broke. Do you know how much money I've given you in 8 months? Money for our life together," she said quickly. "Money for our family, our future." "What family? I've never met your family. What future? We're not even legally married." "You're being dramatic." $23,000, Nietzsche, plus my entire investment account. $70,000 total. She sat down across from me, and for a moment, she looked genuinely sad. "I know it seems like a lot. It is a lot. It's everything I have. But the business investment will pay back everything. With profit." "What business investment?" "You never told me about any business investment." "I told you I was working on something." "Something big." "Working on what?" She was quiet for a long time. "Import, export business. With my cousin in Bangkok." very profitable. I want to see the paperwork. It's all in Thai. Then translate it for me. You don't trust me, she said, and suddenly she was crying. Real tears. You think I'm stealing from you. I don't know what to think anymore. I love you, she said through her tears. Everything I do is for us. For our future together. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. Then show me, I said. Show me the business. Show me your family. Show me our marriage certificate. Show me something real. She wiped her eyes and looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. Okay, she said quietly. I'll show you everything. Tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. When I woke up, Nietzsche was gone. Her phone went straight to voicemail, and I was alone in our house, surrounded by financial papers that showed exactly how much paradise had cost me. Everything. For 3 days, Nietzsche didn't come home. She sent text messages. Working late. Staying with girlfriend. Need space to think. But she wouldn't answer my calls. Wouldn't tell me where she was staying. Wouldn't explain anything. On the 4th night, she came home to shower and change clothes. I'm going back to Bangkok for work, she said, not looking at me. Big important client. What kind of work? Translation work. Very high paying. She was putting on makeup. Nice makeup. The kind she wore when we first met. The kind that made her look younger. More beautiful. How long will you be gone? Few days. Maybe a week. Can I come with you? No, darling, this is work. Very professional. She kissed my forehead like I was her grandfather and left. But this time, I followed her. I took a taxi and told the driver to stay behind her taxi. My heart was pounding like I was committing a crime. Maybe I was. But I needed to know. Her taxi didn't go to the bus station. It didn't go to the airport. It went to the most expensive hotel in Bangkok. The Mandarin Oriental. I watched from across the street as she got out of her taxi. She looked beautiful, confident, like a woman meeting someone important. I followed her into the lobby, staying far behind. She walked straight to the bar like she'd been there before, like she knew exactly where she was going. And then I saw him. A Thai man in an expensive suit stood up from a corner table and embraced her, not like a business colleague, like a lover. They kissed, on the mouth, long enough that other people in the bar noticed. I found a table where I could see them, but they couldn't see me. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold my drink. They looked comfortable together, natural. He touched her face the way I thought, only I touched her face. She laughed at something he said, and it was the same laugh she'd given me that first night at the beach bar. But worse than that, I could hear fragments of their conversation. They were speaking English. How much longer? The man asked. Soon, Nietzsche said. He's starting to ask too many questions. The old man is getting suspicious. Very suspicious. I think we need to finish this soon. The old man. Me. How much more can you get? Maybe 10,000 more. Then I'll tell him I need to visit my family in Bangkok. And then I disappear. Like always. Like always. I sat there for 2 hours, watching my wife plan my destruction with another man. Watching her count my money. Watching her laugh about how easy it had been to fool the lonely old American. The man slid an envelope across the table. Nietzsche put it in her purse without opening it. Same time next month? He asked. If there's anything left, she said. They left together, walking toward the hotel elevators like a couple, like people who belonged together. I stayed in that bar until they closed it down. Then I walked the streets of Bangkok until the sun came up, trying to understand how completely I'd been destroyed. When I finally took a taxi back to Phuket, I was a different person. The man who'd followed his wife to Bangkok was dead. What came back was just an empty shell with $70,000 worth of debt and the worst kind of knowledge. The knowledge that everything you believed about your life was a lie. I got home before Nietzsche did. I sat in our living room for 6 hours, practicing what I would say to her. Practicing how I would confront her about Niran, about the hotel, about the lies. But when she walked through the door, all my practiced words disappeared. She looked tired, older, like the performance was exhausting her too. "Hi, darling," she said quietly. "How was your week?" "Fine," I said. She was carrying a suitcase I'd never seen before, expensive luggage. "How was Bangkok?" I asked. "Good. Work was good." She started packing. Not everything, just her important things. Her jewelry, her good clothes, her laptop. "Going somewhere?" I asked. "I got job offer," she said, not looking at me. "Good job in Bangkok. Better money." "What kind of job?" "Translation work. For big company. Very good opportunity." She folded her clothes carefully, like she was packing for a long trip. "How long?" "Maybe few months. Maybe longer. Depends on the project." I watched her pack my life away, one piece at a time. "When do you leave?" "Tonight. They want me to start immediately." Of course they did. "Nietzsche," I said. She stopped packing and looked at me. Really looked at me. And for just a moment, I saw something in her eyes that might have been regret. "Yes, darling." I was going to tell her I knew about Niran. I was going to tell her I'd followed her to Bangkok. I was going to demand an explanation for everything. Instead, I said, "I love you." She walked over and sat next to me on the couch. She took my hand in both of hers. "I know you do," she said softly. "Do you love me?" She was quiet for a long time. "I care about you very much," she said finally. "Not the same thing." She finished packing in silence. When she was done, she came back to the couch and sat next to me again. "You're a good man, Robert," she said. "You deserve to be happy." I was happy. "With you?" "No," she said gently. "You were hiding with me. There's a difference." She kissed my forehead, like she had 100 times before. But this time it felt like goodbye. "Take care of yourself," she said. "You too." She picked up her suitcase and walked toward the door. At the last moment, she turned around. "The house is paid for 3 more months," she said. "After that, I'll figure it out." She nodded and left. I sat on that couch for the rest of the night, staring at the place where she'd been. At some point, I noticed she'd left a note on the kitchen counter. "Thank you for everything. You are a good man. I hope you find happiness, Nietzsche." I wondered if Nietzsche was even her real name. I wondered if anything had been real. But mostly, I wondered how a man could lose everything and feel relieved at the same time. 3 weeks after Nietzsche left, I was still in the same house, but everything was different. I'd stopped drinking, stopped feeling sorry for myself, stopped waiting for her to come back. Instead, I started thinking. I thought about why I'd come to Thailand in the first place. Not for adventure, not for culture, not even for love, really. I'd come to Thailand to hide from my life in New Jersey, from my divorce, my loneliness, my feeling that I'd wasted 64 years being someone I didn't particularly like. Nietzsche didn't save me from my broken life. She gave me a different broken life. One where I could pretend to be needed, important, loved. But it was all pretend. The truth is, I wanted to be fooled. When she asked for money for her mother's medicine, I wanted to believe it. When she said she loved me, I wanted to believe it. When she promised we'd build a future together, I wanted to believe it so desperately that I ignored every red flag. I sat in our empty house and made a list of all the signs I'd ignored. The late-night phone calls. The expensive gifts that appeared from nowhere. The way other Thai people looked at me with pity. The fact that I'd never met a single member of her family. The way she controlled every aspect of my life in Thailand. But the biggest sign was how good it felt to give her money. Every time she needed something, every time she had an emergency, I felt useful. I felt like a provider, like a man who mattered. Janet never made me feel like that. Janet made me feel like a burden, like someone who took up space and paid bills and occasionally said something stupid at dinner parties. Nietzsche made me feel like a hero. Every time I transferred money to her account, I was saving the day, solving problems, being the strong American man who could fix anything with his credit card. I wasn't a victim of a scam. I was a customer. And for 8 months, I got exactly what I paid for. I paid $70,000 to feel loved, needed, and important. Some men pay more for cars they drive twice a year. The difference is, they know they're buying a car. I thought I was buying love, but even that's not completely true. Part of me knew. Part of me always knew. When Nietzsche deflected my questions about her family, I knew she was lying. When she needed money every week for emergencies, I knew something was wrong. When she controlled all our paperwork and finances, I knew I was being managed. But I didn't want to know, because knowing meant being alone again. And I'd rather be fooled than alone. That's what I learned about myself in those 3 weeks. I'd rather live a beautiful lie than an ugly truth. I'd rather be used than ignored. I'd rather pay for love than admit I didn't deserve it for free. But sitting in that empty house, I realized something else. Something that surprised me. I wasn't angry at Nietzsche. She'd given me 8 months of feeling important. 8 months of waking up next to a beautiful woman who called me darling and made me coffee and listened to my stories. 8 months of feeling like my life mattered to someone. Was it real? Number. Was it worth $70,000? Probably not. But it was something. And maybe that's enough. Maybe the lesson isn't that I was stupid for believing her. Maybe the lesson is that I was lonely enough to need her lies. And maybe, instead of hating myself for that loneliness, I should try to understand it. I called my daughter Sarah for the first time in 6 months. Dad? She sounded surprised to hear from me. Hi, sweetheart. Are you okay? You sound different. I'm okay. I wanted to apologize. For what? For disappearing. For running away to Thailand, instead of dealing with my problems at home. Dad, you don't need to apologize for starting over. I wasn't starting over, I said. I was hiding. Are you coming home? I looked around the house where I'd lived with Nietzsche. Our house. Except, it was never really our house, was it? No, I said. But I'm not hiding anymore either. I moved to Chiang Mai 6 weeks after Nietzsche left. Smaller city, cheaper rent, fewer tourists looking for easy money from lonely foreigners. I found a 1-bedroom apartment near the old city for 8,000 baht a month. About $200, all I could afford now. But something strange happened when I downsized my life. I felt lighter. The apartment was small but clean. No fancy furniture, no expensive electronics, no pretense, just a bed, a table, 2 chairs, and a view of the mountains. It felt honest in a way the Phuket house never had. I started walking everywhere instead of taking taxis. I learned basic Thai phrases from YouTube videos instead of relying on a translator. I cooked simple meals instead of eating at tourist restaurants. For the first time since arriving in Thailand, I felt like I was actually living here instead of just visiting with an expensive guide. You look different, said Mike, an expat I met at a coffee shop near my apartment. He was about my age, from Australia, been in Thailand for 15 years. How so? Less desperate, he said with a laugh. Most new retirees here have this hungry look, like they're trying to eat Thailand instead of live in it. I probably looked like that before. We all did. Thailand will cure you of that if you let it. Mike introduced me to other long-term expats. Not the bar scene guys. Not the guys with 20-year-old girlfriends. Regular people who'd built quiet lives here. Teachers, volunteers, retirees who'd figured out how to be useful without being used. Want to help with English classes? Mike asked one day. Local temple runs a program for kids. I'm not a teacher. Neither am I. But I speak English, and they want to learn it. So I started teaching English to Thai children 3 mornings a week. 10 kids between 8 and 14, eager and polite, and completely uninterested in my money. They just wanted to learn. Teacher Bob, they called me, and it made me feel more important than any amount of gratitude from Nietzsche ever had. I also started volunteering at an elephant sanctuary outside the city. Feeding elephants, cleaning enclosures, learning about conservation. Hard physical work that left me exhausted and satisfied. Why you come here every day? Asked Somchai, an old Thai man who worked at the sanctuary. Most volunteers come once, take photos, never return. I like the work, I said. No, he said, studying my face. You like feeling useful without someone taking advantage. He was right. I made friends slowly. Real friends. People who knew I wasn't rich, who didn't want anything from me except conversation and companionship. We played chess, shared meals, complained about the weather. Normal things, the kind of things I'd forgotten were possible. 6 months after Nietzsche left, I got an email from Sarah. Dad, you sound so much better lately. Happier. More like yourself. More like yourself. I'd been trying to figure out who that was. I wrote back and told her about my new life. The teaching, the elephant work, the friends. I didn't tell her about Nietzsche or the money. Some lessons are too expensive to share. I'm proud of you, she wrote back, for starting over at your age, for building a real life instead of just buying one. Building instead of buying. I liked that. A year after Nietzsche left, I was sitting on my small balcony, drinking tea and watching the sunset over the mountains. No beer, no regrets, no anger. Just peace. I thought about her sometimes, wondered if she was running the same game on another lonely foreigner, wondered if she remembered me at all, or if I was just one in a long line of old men who paid for the privilege of feeling loved. It didn't matter anymore. I'd learned something valuable in Thailand, something worth more than $70,000. I'd learned the difference between being needed and being loved, between buying affection and earning respect, between hiding from your problems and solving them. I'd learned that starting over at 64 wasn't about finding someone to take care of me. It was about learning to take care of myself. And maybe, if I was very lucky, learning to be someone worth caring about. The sun disappeared behind the mountains, and I went inside to cook dinner. Tomorrow I'd teach English to 10 eager children. Tomorrow I'd feed elephants who were grateful without being greedy. Tomorrow I'd have coffee with friends who liked me for reasons that had nothing to do with my bank account. Tomorrow I'd continue building the life I should have built all along. A real life. An honest life. A life that didn't cost more than I could afford. Paradise, it turns out, isn't something you can buy. It's something you earn, one small choice at a time. And it's never too late to start earning it.